Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is May 22nd, 2019. And ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to give all of you an update on the family from Ballinger, Texas, who lost their home. And they were Planet X News subscribers. Well, at least the husband was. And I've had some lengthy conversations, and I was actually able to have a video chat on Google Hangouts with their entire family. And I wanted to give all of you a quick update on what has transpired over the last 48 hours with this family. Unfortunately, they did lose every single thing that they owned. And yes, their home was completely annihilated by these tornadoes. And I'm sorry, yesterday I was going to have a live stream, but I was just so extremely busy. And then I had the video conference with their entire family, and we talked for almost 3 hours. And let me tell you, I have some new friends, probably for life, in Ballinger, Texas. And I wanted to share another story with you pertaining to this family, because even though they have gone through something so devastating and so life-changing, something good has come out of all of this agony that they've gone through over the last couple of days. And Kathy asked me once again to share their story, because now she is a firm believer in what is happening to our world. She is also a firm believer in something that I frequently talk about on my YouTube channel, and that is destiny. If you folks have been with me for some time now, you know that I have talked about destiny and a paper that I wrote back when I was in my last year of college. And that paper that I wrote was on destiny and how destiny affects your life every tick of the clock. She remembered me talking about this during one of my videos and live streams, and she mentioned it to her husband as they're staying at their parents' now, so they were actually sitting there with her parents, and they were having a conversation about how all of this transpired, and my name came up in the Planet X News YouTube channel. And Kathy had mentioned to her husband, she said, Scott was right. Destiny is an absolute factor in what has happened. And I'm going to get right to that, folks. Destiny does control our lives, and we can actually step into someone else's life and change their destiny. It happens every minute of every day. And I guess that was her point. That was the point that she was trying to make, because this is what has happened. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the live chat real quick. I almost forgot. And yes, it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning checking everything around the world. But I have another very, very busy day today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to jump back on here maybe later on in the evening. Hey, there's my man, Callie. What's happening, my man? Let me set my phone back down here. Khalid, what's happening, brother? Anyways, folks, this is what has transpired. And, Kathy almost had me in tears again. I was a little embarrassed. I guess you guys saw a soft spot of me that I don't normally share. And we had a few laughs about it whenever I was talking to her whole family. Her two boys, she has two kids, ages 13 and 15. And they were asking me for my autograph. And I had to tell them, I'm like, look, I'm not a superstar. I'm just a guy on YouTube that happens to have a good scientific background and a heart of gold. But I'm not in the business of giving autographs. But I offered to send them a few T-shirts. Dr. Albers and I, we wanted to send them some money, and we were going to send them $1,000 by Western Union to, just try to help take care of anything that they needed. And they actually turned the money down. They said, no, my husband has a very good job. We are okay. We're with my parents now. But I want to tell you what has happened. And we were talking on this video conference on Google Hangouts. And I said, well, listen, don't hold me in suspense. What has happened? Now, even though their house was completely leveled and a lot of the homes in Ballinger and the surrounding area that day were very severely damaged, and the storm has moved through different parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska. It's actually moving up north now, and I'm going to go over some radar footage with you that is current and up to date, because there's going to be some additional warnings for folks in these northwestern states. But anyways, Roy is Kathy's husband, and he's in the gas and oil industry. He has been for the last 20 years. And very, very smart guy, very intelligent. He's been in the gas and oil industry since he was 18 years old. And he works for a very, very good company. And it just so happens that the company that he works for in Texas, I actually worked for here in Pennsylvania back when I worked in the gas well industry. And, naturally he had to call off of work the day after this storm. And they shut down these facilities anyways, especially when there are lightning strikes. When you're in the gas well industry, weather does not play a role in the production unless it involves lightning. Because you have big well heads, you have towers, metal towers, cranes, things of that nature. Even though they're grounded, you can still take a lightning strike. So he contacted his supervisor, and the company that we're referring to is National Oil Well Services, Varco, publicly traded corporation, one of the biggest gas and oil well production companies in the world. And when I worked for them here in Pennsylvania, they were fantastic. A very, very, very good, solid company to work for. And they do take care of their own. And this is going to be a prime example of how something so terrible, losing your home, possibly coming this close to losing your life. And remember, Kathy's 8 months pregnant. And that was a huge factor. And that was something that really, really touched my heart, because if they would have stayed in that home, it's very hard to say if anybody would have made it. The damage was just incredible. Some parts of Ballinger, they just had roof damage. Other parts of Ballinger and the surrounding areas had total destruction. Over the last 48 hours, folks, the torrential floods have moved in. I was able to catch a few rescues of people being plucked out of these raging waters. Very, very, very dangerous situations. But anyways, getting back to Roy's job, he had contacted his immediate supervisor and told him what had happened. And within their conversation, he said, listen, I'm really thinking about moving out of Texas. I was born and raised here, but now, things are getting so dangerous with our weather here. I want to protect my family, so I think we're going to be moving, and I may have to resign from my position. And Roy is a drilling operator, and it does take a lot of skill, a lot of training to operate directional drilling equipment. And I'm very, very familiar with his job, and it is a very high-paying job. His direct supervisor stepped up to the plate and told him, listen, give me 24 hours. Let me see if I can work something out. We do not want to lose you. And sure enough, the story they shared with me during this video conference, again, just absolutely touched my heart. So National Oil Well Services is going to relocate Roy, Kathy, and their entire family to another location where they have production facilities. And apparently they want out of Texas. And they do have several facilities here in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. And Roy and Kathy, they picked West Virginia. And they said that the folks in West Virginia would probably be more of their speed. And that is probably true. They're going to be set up by their company. They're giving them a $10,000 relocation bonus. And that is just absolutely fantastic. I do know that, these companies, they do take care of their workers. They are fantastic companies to work for. Roy and Kathy are going to be moving to Fairmont, West Virginia. I've been down to Fairmont many, many times. I worked down there for a 6-month period on a very huge drilling job, actually creating the entire drilling platform way into the mountains, West Virginia. Fairmont, West Virginia is absolutely a beautiful area. And over the course of the last 10 years, they have modernized things with the money that has come from natural gas drilling. They were also looking for the future for a college for both of their boys. Now they're 13 and 15. In a couple of years, they're going to be going to college. They wanted to keep them close to home. West Virginia University, WVU, absolutely phenomenal school. And that's where they're going to be heading. So the company is actually getting things together ASAP. They're going to put them in temporary housing. And usually these companies, they will lease out double wide trailer homes, modular homes, things of that nature. They will provide housing for their workers if they're going to be coming up from Texas or Arkansas or Oklahoma and working in Pennsylvania, Ohio, or West Virginia. I have many, many friends over the years that I've worked with from all of these states, from Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, even the Dakotas. They tried to get me to move up to North Dakota, offered me $200,000 a year, and I said, absolutely no way in hell am I moving to North Dakota. I don't care what kind of money you're offering me. Too damn cold up there. But anyways, in the course of the next few weeks, they're going to be relocating to Fairmont, West Virginia. And once they're all settled in, they're going to be getting a brand new home. There's a lot of new construction going on in Fairmont. Just a beautiful place, and the surroundings of West Virginia are just gorgeous. I know some people make fun of people from West Virginia, whatever. But West Virginia has really, really come about over the last several years because of the gas and oil well drilling operations. New roads, new plazas, new stores, new homes, new neighborhoods. It's just fantastic. So this has actually turned out to be a very, very good thing for their family. Getting back to what Kathy said, destiny. That destiny was completely changed from what she says by heeding my warning about this incoming storm and the damage potential. If they wouldn't have left and they stayed in their home, they might have lost their lives or been severely injured. They did leave. Their home was totaled. And now all of that has led to something much, much better. So once they're all settled in, they've invited me and Dr. Albers to come down to Fairmont. It's not too far of a drive, about an hour and a half. I used to drive down there every day for work. And they invited us down for a real hardcore Texas barbecue. And that put a smile on my face. I used to travel to Texas on business 3 times a year, 2 times to Dallas, once to Houston. I love the people from Texas, man. They are just straight up hardcore American patriots. And I love the people from Texas. But I said there's only one problem. Dr. Albers is a hardcore vegan. So we're gonna have to put some vegetables or something on the menu, or she's gonna have to bring her own food with her and cook up her vegetarian soup that she makes every morning. So that's going to be fantastic, and I'm going to go down there once they're all settled in, and I'm going to spend the entire day with them and some newfound friends. And I was very, very happy to hear all of this good news that has literally come from a tragedy. Folks, it's not too often that we hear things like this. Normally, these tragedies, they just end in a tragedy. There is no good outcome. All of your belongings are gone. Everything that you own is gone. It's erased. It happened to me in 2014. Actually, while I was on a gas well site way down in the mountains of West Virginia, no cell phone service. I lost my entire house in a fire. It was actually caused by my neighbor who his kids set their kitchen on fire. It spread to my house, and it burnt my house to the ground. Everything that I owned was completely gone. And one of the most disturbing things for me was losing all of my photo albums from when I was born. My grandmother made photo albums of every single year of my life up until the day I graduated from high school. And she gave me all of those photo albums. They were all lost in the fire. Everything I owned. And I didn't know about it till I came down out of the mountains and got on Interstate 79 and got cell phone service. And I started getting the text messages from a friend of mine who is a fireman. And I do have to say, I was pretty traumatized by that for a couple of years. And, luckily, I was making very, very good money. It was easy for me to recover from all of that. But you can never replace a life, And you can't replace those things that have stuck with your family, like those photo albums. I mean, that was just, that was devastating for me. You know, I mean, I could still picture these things in my mind. But to have a situation like this occur, this has really, really touched my heart. There's no doubt. And I'm very, very glad that I have a family that I'm going to meet, and I'm going to enjoy some time with them. And I am going to be thankful, just as they are thankful, that they are all still alive, and a completely new life is ahead for Roy and Kathy, their two boys, and the little baby girl that's on the way. And Kathy was mentioning to me, this is going to be the first granddaughter out of all of the grandkids. It's going to be the first granddaughter. And you know, she's going to be spoiled. That's what happened in my family. All of my mom's brothers and sisters, everybody had boys. Then my mom had a girl, my sister. She was the first granddaughter. Oh, my Lord, did they spoil her to death. Still to this day. So, again, good things have come out of this. National Oil Well Services is going to be giving Roy a promotion, a raise. And again, they're going to be helping him with $10,000 for his relocation. And, yeah, it's a really good thing. You know, I wish all of the people that have undergone all of this damage throughout these states, you know, I wish there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for the rest of these folks, but, you know, I don't know, folks, pretty tough. You know, things like this, they do get me pretty worked up, because one of the main goals that I've always had on this YouTube channel is simply to inform people and educate them on what is happening, what is going to happen. That's pretty tough on social media now. You know, you get called every name in the book: fearmonger, criminal, you know, you're perpetrating a hoax, you're a liar, the whole 9 yards. Sometimes that does bother me, but I do fight back. But educating everybody, as many people as I can around the world, was my main goal. Not to become some stupid YouTube star like PewDiePie and some of these others. Because you can see, YouTube doesn't want me having 5 or 6 million subscribers. That's for damn sure. Because if I had that many subscribers, Planet X News would be heard around the world in a matter of 24 hours. Everything I say would make its way around the world. The fact of the matter is, I don't think they want people to know. That is a crime. That is criminal. That bothers me deeply. And to be blunt, that pisses me off really bad. That's what jerks my temperature sky high. But anyways, again, something very, very good has come about this, and I'm very, very glad that there was a happier ending to all of this. I want to mention something else before we get into this radar imagery for what's coming up in the next few hours in the central part of the U.S. I wanted to talk about the subscribers to this YouTube channel, to Planet X News. I personally want to thank each and every one of you for all of the heartfelt emails, inbox messages, and all of your comments. You know, I know some of you called me a hero. I appreciate that, but I don't see it that way. You know, I have a big heart. I have a heart of gold, and I will help anybody at any time if I see fit. And I really do appreciate all of those comments. I mean, yeah, you know, you could see I ran out of my toilet paper to blow my nose and wipe my eyes. A lot of beautiful comments. I'm not used to that all the time in the comment section here on Planet X News. Sometimes we get a lot of negative people, you know. Sometimes they could be, you know, government disinformation agents, government trolls, crazy people, people with different points of view. But I do have to say this much. The hardcore subscribers to Planet X News are true, loving people, and very smart. That much I could say. The people that subscribe to this YouTube channel, they have brains. They have common sense. They are hardcore patriots. They are good people. For that, I'm very, very grateful. Very grateful. I tried to answer as many of those comments as possible. Once again, you know, choking back some tears because this situation here in Ballinger, Texas, maybe to some folks it may seem very superficial, but to me it meant the world. I don't consider myself to be some YouTube hero, but I'm just glad the warning was heeded, and look what has happened. These people's lives, their past, their history, erased in a blink of an eye. But again, something very, very good has happened. And it didn't take long. It took a fantastic, hardcore American company that sticks up for their workers to step in and once again let destiny take over and change the lives of this family for the good. That made me happy. I was actually so happy after hearing all of this news from this family. It totally exhausted me. I was overwhelmed by everything that they were telling me, and it was great to see their two boys. You know, they were in the background while we were on the video conference, and they kept putting up, you know, the number one. You know, Planet X News is number one. It was. You know, it was great. They got two really, really good kids. And Kathy mentioned to me, she said, you know, Scott, because of you, I will never, ever argue with my husband again. I started laughing and I said, look, you know, that's great. But, you know, all married couples squabble every now and then. And she said, listen, you know, maybe you don't understand, but you have changed our lives forever. And I said, okay, if you want to think of it that way, let's roll with it. So I'm going to be very excited to meet their entire family in person. And I'm sure as hell looking forward to that real Texas barbecue. Because we don't have Texas barbecue up here. You know, and Texas barbecue involves beef, not pork. So I'm looking forward to it. And if everybody can keep them in their prayers and keep everybody affected by these storms, keep them in your prayers, keep them in your thoughts. And folks, listen, these things with these storms, they are not going to change. And I'm not trying to move into a negative thing here, but I want to move into reality. And the reality is, listen, I study weather every single day. Every day. Whew. I knew this was coming. And I'm glad I put out the warning video. I've heard from a number of my subscribers already that were in Oklahoma. And they all sent me a few pictures, flooding. There were 17 tornadoes that touched down yesterday. The day before, just wicked weather. Now the flooding has set in. So the problem here is the heating up of our atmosphere and these very, very strange erratic patterns with our jet stream. Now, something that I can't predict is the pattern of these jet streams, especially in the northern hemisphere. It's very, very erratic. So erratic that it is constantly changing so rapidly that even the best meteorologists, even the best satellites and equipment and forecasting models, they can't predict these things as fast as they used to get the warnings out. That's a big problem. And eventually that's going to cost people their lives. That's sad. There is a huge front of extreme heat that's going to be moving up from the south through the Gulf of Mexico into the southern states, more than likely all the way up to the West Virginia area. These heat indexes could be very, very severe. We're talking a heat index is the combination of the actual temperature and humidity levels, which actually makes it feel like it's hotter than it really is. These heat indexes are going to rise, and they're going to rise very, very rapidly beginning today, going through tomorrow and the next couple of days. So heed the warning, because you can suffer heat stroke and exhaustion very, very quick. Very quick. If you have animals, pets, and they're outdoor pets, like I say in the wintertime, bring them indoors. Don't subject your animals to this type of weather situation with the heat index, because those animals can perish. So be responsible. And be responsible with yourself also. Do not overexert yourself in these heat waves. This is not going to be the first, the last. We're going to have many of these in different parts of the U.S. Not everybody is going to have this throughout the summer. There are going to be places here in the United States that will have a relatively moderate summer. It all depends on this erratic jet stream. So let's just answer all of those questions right now. There was very extreme flooding, folks. I pay attention to weather around the world. There was very, very extreme flooding in Germany, in France, Romania, Bulgaria, Russia. Oh my Lord, Italy. Oh my Lord. I have subscribers in a lot of these areas. They were sending me short video clips of what they were experiencing over the last 24 to 48 hours. Wow! Let me tell you, we got our own problems here in the U.S. and in Canada. The folks in Europe and other countries, wow, man, they're getting it really, really good. Really good. And I had a few people from India send me emails and ask me if I could please include India in some of the weather forecasting or severe weather alerts. And I do talk about India quite a bit. Maybe they missed it. But I have a very, very good friend of mine who lives in the northern part, north central part of India. Aaron has become a very good friend of mine. He's my web developer. And I've already put him on alert. So I will try to include weather warnings for people in different countries. I'm very, very highly censored in all of Europe, South America, actually all over the world, folks. When I look at the Google YouTube analytics, it shows me how many people are watching my YouTube channel in every single country. Now, in 2016 and 2017, whenever I would look at that map that comes in the YouTube analytics, the whole entire map was lit up with Planet X News. I was being heard in every single country, even countries in Africa, even people who live on small island nations were hearing my words. But in 2018, in the beginning, they wiped that out. Wiped it out. So the only folks that are really hearing me are people in the United States, Canada, the UK, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. That's it. Now, there are people that do tune in to my YouTube channel from other countries, and they're lucky if they're getting a notification from YouTube to tune in. Wish there was something that I could do about it. I'm still working on, thinking about some way, somehow I can stop this, but I can't fight YouTube. Joining our private network is the only way that I know of right now where I can get notifications out to people, and you actually get them. You get them in your email. You get all of the information right there, uncensored, nonstop. Boom, it's right there. And it's been working very, very well. I've been getting a lot of people they're telling me, wow, I'm so glad you did this. I wasn't getting notifications from YouTube. Now I can check my email and boom, the notifications are there. I could see what you've posted. I could watch the different videos that I can't put on YouTube, can't put on Facebook. I'll probably get a community guideline strike for showing you the destruction of this damn home. But who cares? Join our private network, folks. Join up now because, again, we never know when one of these purges is going to happen with these silly social media companies. It's like they're run by a bunch of freaking Nazis. But anyways, I wanted to share this information with you about Roy and Kathy and their family and how all of this turned out so very, very well. Once again, I want to thank all of you for all of the nice comments. They were very, very touching. And I think a lot of you were trying to get me choked up again with your comments. And it worked. But, things turned out well. And that's a good thing, But things aren't looking too good for the folks in the Midwest. And that's a bad thing. So I'm going to touch on some updated weather radar with you folks. I want to show you the intensity of these storms and how they are forming. Because it's good to be educated in this aspect. That way you actually know what's happening, why it's happening. I also found something out there lurking by the sun again. I'm going to share those photographs with you. And me and Mark from the Blue Kool-Aid channel, we've been trying to get our schedules together so we can do a live stream together and show you something very interesting that we found occurring out there right next to the sun. And as soon as me and Mark can get together, we'll bring that information to all of you, because I think that you're going to find it quite fascinating. Yes. But let's get into this weather radar. Let me get out of this thumbnail here real quick. And I just want to real quick touch on some of these reports that were coming out of Ballinger and all of these surrounding areas. Boy, I'll tell you, I'll play this video here. Let's see. This is aerial drone footage. And this was from a news station there, KTAB. They're flying their drone over this area. And this was San Angelo, Texas. It says 4 tornadoes struck parts of West Texas, specifically the cities of Abilene, Ballinger, and San Diego on Saturday. Severe weather that damaged homes, businesses. Yeah. So you can see some of these homes were untouched. Some of them had severe roof damage. And some of them were completely leveled. Here's the problem, folks. I guess in some of these neighborhoods, these homes don't have basements. They don't have cellars. They're built on a concrete pad. So you risk staying in that structure. You don't have a basement. And that was a key factor for Roy and Kathy to leave their home. They didn't have a storm shelter. They didn't have a basement. And weather forecasters, meteorologists, they'll tell you, go to a central part of your home, a closet, interior, go down in the basement. That's all good, folks. But when you're faced with 250 mile an hour to 300 mile an hour winds, a 2x4 can go through a brick wall, and it can sure as hell go right through you. And I don't know if that advice is all that good. We're dealing with supercells, superstorms now. Horrific. Very, very dangerous. And the problem is, we're going to see a lot more of this. Yes, we are. There's no doubt. And it's a shame. Because eventually, just like what happened years ago in Brownsville, what was that, Brownsville? Or what was the name of that one town? Was it in Oklahoma? I believe, what was the name of that town that was just completely wiped off the map? Everything gone. Just terrible. This is another news report real quick I wanted to share with you guys. This is from Ballinger. Ballinger tornado. These are some of the photographs that you see there. That house is actually a brick structure. The pressure and the wind from these tornadoes is just devastating. It will tear anything apart. Yes, already the electrical crews. You got to give a thumbs up to the linesmen. They have a very, very dangerous job. I have a friend of mine, a very, very good friend of mine. He is a linesman. He's been injured several times in his career. And it's a very, very risky job that they do. And folks, without these guys hooking up power lines once they're torn down, yeah, we wouldn't have any electricity. So you can see that there once was a house there. And, it's good to see people in these communities moving in to help each other. Let me tell you something. I've been keeping a very, very close eye on the freaks from FEMA. I haven't heard one damn thing about FEMA over the last couple of days. With all of this damn destruction, where is FEMA? That's our tax dollars. Where the hell are they? Why aren't they helping these people? They better be. Because I sent an email to FEMA.gov yesterday, and I lit them up like a sparkler on the 4th of July. Yeah, I used a couple of swear words in my email, but these people knew that this was about to happen, and they didn't do jack shit. Yeah. But they're willing to put up FEMA concentration camps all over the Midwest. They're willing to give temporary housing to illegal aliens that are coming into our country by the millions. What about our people? What about the people in our country that are in need? What about those people that paid those damn taxes for FEMA to exist? Where are they? Because from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, they're nowhere to be found once again. Shit. So as you can see, folks, this was just one location. This house took it pretty hard. You could see this house here. It is also brick. They suffered some extensive roof damage, and it looks like the whole front wall of their house there has been completely blown out. And there's someone's lawnmower, tractor, riding mower. Lord only knows how far that traveled in the wind. Hey, listen. Oh, that's devastating there. The American flag tattered and stuck in a tree. I hope they saved that flag. Yeah. Yeah, I hope they saved that flag. But, folks, I've seen in the years that have passed, I've seen, animals get sucked up into tornadoes, farm animals, horses, pigs, cows. Some of these supercells can be really, really, really dangerous. I guess that was a telephone pole right there. Yeah, that was a telephone pole snapped like a twig. That is a trailer. That probably weighs a couple thousand pounds. That's out in the middle of nowhere. You can see this trailer that was once a concrete block structure. That's completely destroyed. Wow, look at the side of that truck. Lord only knows what hit that. That is some kind of a large truck vehicle completely toppled over. That's a steel beam. Wow. See, that's what I mean, folks. Things flying through the air that weigh several hundred pounds or even 1,000 pounds, crashing into your house, trees falling over. Yeah, being in a central part of your home during one of these tornadoes may be a good thing, may be a bad thing. When you don't have any place to go and it's your last resource, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, it's pretty devastating what's actually occurred. And wow, that structure's completely twisted and gone. This was the actual storm path that this tornado took. And you can see this tornado was just not a few minutes. This tornado traveled a big distance. And Ballinger wasn't even in its direct path. That's what's incredible. That tornado did that damage throughout that path. And Ballinger, according to the tornado path, was off to the east, I guess. It looks like on my screen. That's a pretty big distance for damage to occur that far away. I've actually prepared some video of these tornadoes. Woo! Let me tell you, these guys that are storm chasers, don't take it the wrong way, but they got to be a special kind of nuts to go out there and do what they do. I could tell you that much. If it was me, and I'm a pretty brave person, yeah, after this last round of videos that I've watched with these storm chasers, I got to say, these people got balls of steel, and it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, because in one of the videos, there's a young woman storm chaser, and she's got balls of steel, and she wasn't scared at all. She was telling the driver, turn here, let's go towards it. You know, the guy was saying, you're crazy, no way, I'm heading the other way. But let's listen to this police officer. This is actually from the city of Ballinger that was hit with that Saturday tornado strike. Let's take a listen, see what she has to say.
Came through Ballinger earlier this morning, and it managed to hit some of these houses here that you have seen. Luckily, there's been no injuries and no deaths that we can report. The houses, as you can see, have sustained significant damage.
We're actually sitting on the front porch, drinking coffee, watching it rain, which we love to do. And then when the siren went off, we're like, okay, we need to get in the back bedroom. That's where we were going to hunker down at. Got him in that back closet. I thought my wife was behind me, but so I kind of dove down on the floor in that bedroom, and I just heard a noise and like a big boom. Turned around, seen the roof was gone. Started yelling for my wife. I was pretty scared, pretty nerve-wracking at that time.
And then everything got still, like eerie still. And then all of a sudden the wind started picking up really fast, and we're like, it's coming. So we go into their bathroom over there and get in the bath, and then all of a sudden I hear something, and Al, he said, it's just the AC. And I was like, no, it's coming. And it got louder and louder. The sound was just crazy. And then it was on top of us. Everything was shaking. You just hear just everything, glass breaking and everything. You know, I honestly thought, like, this could be it. Like, this is it. And I think everybody at that moment thought the same thing. And then as soon as it was over, we made sure we were okay. And Al, he went to the neighbors and made sure everyone was fine. Luckily, everybody was good.
First and foremost is, glad we didn't get hurt, glad to be alive. But we really love this house. A lot of good memories.
My daughter has had a few heart surgeries, so we've been in situations where stuff is stuff. You only have that one life, and that life is precious. And thank God, everyone was good. And then to see everyone come out immediately and just help clean up. Small town's all about.
Wow, that was that was fantastic. You see what I mean, folks? I mean, that's good, man. That's good to see people coming out and helping each other almost immediately. That's what America is all about. That's what Texas is all about. I love people from Texas. I got a lot of friends of mine from Texas. And I got a lot of respect for those people. Very, very hardworking people. True patriots. And if you're ever going to have a neighbor, make sure they're from Texas. But I wanted to share that piece of video. That came from KIDY 10 in San Angelo. And they put together a very, very good piece. Very heartfelt once again. It's hard to look at these things, folks. But it has become part of our lives. And it will remain a part of our lives. And maybe the moral of the story is, in some odd way, all of these things that revolve around catastrophic situations, loss of life, loss of property, maybe somehow, some way, this will bring more unity to not only people here in the United States, but to people around the world. I don't talk much about God and religion too much on my YouTube channel. I'm not a super religious man. I do hold my own faith in God. Maybe this is a way that once again he's bringing all of his children together to work as one. But there are still very, very sadistic factions out there within this world. Governments, agencies, that are not for the people. They're for themselves. That's a damn shame. And you all know that I'm right. So I don't want to get into politics, because you will see my blood pressure go sky high. I want to jump into this weather real quick, folks, and then I'm going to let you all go. You can see I have a wide view of this storm system. I want you to take a really good look at that circulation. That circulation that you see winding up there kind of looks like a hurricane. That circulation started right off of the west coast of California. And then it moved in. And then it really, really picked up speed. And then it picked up a lot of moisture and heat coming up from a high pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico. Remember, a week ago, there were 3 atmospheric rivers that meteorologists said that were setting up on the west coast out in the Pacific. I reported on it. 24 hours later, that all changed. But here's the thing. The meteorologists, they didn't say jack shit about it. Why? I mean, that's when I came out with my video, because I saw what was happening. I saw why it was happening. And look, I've been a weather watcher for more than 25 years. I scientifically understand weather. I could probably take some of their damn jobs. And I knew that what was about to happen was not good. And I saw the rotation of this system as it was out over New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona. It wasn't looking too good. And that rotation was very, very well organized. And that was a low pressure system. I saw the high pressure system, which was kind of weak, and it was setting up in the Gulf of Mexico. The way that the jet stream patterns were flowing, once again, it was going to cause these two systems, the low pressure, the high pressure, to bump into each other. When that occurs, well, all hell breaks loose. And you have different speeds of the upper level winds, different speeds of mid-level wind, and different speeds of the wind speeds a couple 100 feet above the surface. So you have all of that convection moving around and those different wind speeds, and bingo, you have situations for tornadoes. And there was one situation yesterday, I believe, in Oklahoma. 3 tornadoes touched down at the same time in a row, in a straight line. That's dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous. But as you can see, this system was setting up. And as I said the other day, I wasn't sure where this storm was going to go. The way the jet stream was flowing, it looked like it was going to take it directly across the United States, impacting Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, making its way up into Canada on the East Coast. But as you can see now, 48 hours later, that has all changed. And this storm is now taking a direct northeast pattern. It's moving straight up right now over the state of Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, all through the Great Lakes, and it's going to be winding up into the provinces of Canada. Now, this looks like it's going to be a huge rainmaker. And when you're talking about the areas up there in Canada, those are the Great Plains up there. That's all flat land. So the potential for high winds and flash flooding on a scale from 1 to 10 will be an 11. So, folks, for all of you in those states, Minnesota, the Dakotas, all of you up there in those states, heed this warning. Don't piss around with these flood levels. These flood stages can go up very, very rapidly. Remember, we still have a lot of saturated ground up there from snow melt and the warmer temperatures. So be very, very careful over the next... It looks like it's moving pretty fast, but I would say the next 24 hours is really going to tell the tale with this monster that's moving up there. This is very strange to see a system like that looks like a hurricane, and it is almost the size of 2/3 of the United States. If you just stop that storm, if you just stop the motion, and I'll do that so we can take a look. Let me just back it up here. And let me get out the little mouse drawing feature here. You can see the size of this storm. Wouldn't you say that storm is anywhere from half to 2/3 the size of the United States? Could you only imagine if that storm right there, was right here? Off the east coast of the United States, in the form of a hurricane. Even if that was only a category 1 or 2 or 3, a hurricane that size with that much rotation hitting the east coast of the United States would be absolutely devastating. That storm could stay in the Atlantic and still reach, if we just erase all of this, and that storm made its way, and you see the size of it, that storm could actually sit off of the coast of the United States in the warm waters of the southern Atlantic and devastate the entire East Coast, and it would be felt all the way inland to states like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and the panhandle of Florida, even if it was in the Atlantic, because you see how widespread and how large it is. And I had a discussion with Dr. Albers yesterday about these storms. And she said to me, she said, you know, you do understand that these are just going to get worse as time goes on. And I said, yeah, I know. I knew you were going to say that, you know. And remember, Dr. Albers is a very, very smart woman. Talking about a woman who has 2 master's degrees, you know, a doctorate, 3 bachelor's degrees, and 17 years teaching physics at a major university. So, yeah, she's definitely a smart woman. She's been analyzing a lot of this also. And the best thing that we can do, folks, is to keep our eye on all of this. And I guess we're going to have to learn to live with it. You know, as Dr. Albers said yesterday in our conversation, you know, she said, you know, you do understand that this is only going to get worse. These storms, the sizes of these storms are going to be massive, massive. Could you imagine, like, this storm here encompassing and affecting 2/3 of a country, the size of the United States, and now moving up into a bigger country like Canada? Wow! You're talking, boom, a double whammy, just like that. And there was something else that I was watching. My God. There was up here the day before yesterday. You see this circulation starting to form up here? This was directly underneath the little country of Iceland. Now, I thought they were going to get pounded 48 hours ago. That whole entire rotation system has been kind of destroyed by this jet stream. See, that's what I'm talking about, folks. We could be looking at something right now on the weather radar, and the jet stream can change very, very rapidly and wipe that storm out. Now, if you guys listen to BP Earthwatch, 2 days ago and yesterday, Jesse was talking about that storm system out in the Atlantic, and you see right here, you see me circling it with my cursor. That storm system, by the laws of nature, should have been moving eastward and moving towards the Bahamas and the coastline of Florida. If you take a very close look at it, it's now moving off to the east and getting blown out into the Atlantic. I believe it was the first named storm in the Atlantic. So that was kind of a good thing. But my point is, you see how rapidly things changed. You see how rapidly this storm system changed. This storm system was supposed to be moving directly across the United States and impacting the East Coast. Now, 24 hours later, that has all changed. It has put many, many other northwestern or north central states here in this country in the line of fire. And then our brothers and sisters to the north in Canada, in less than 24 hours, they're going to be dealing with it. And this is going to be hitting areas in Canada. The plains, man, it's flat. And they already have saturated ground from snowmelt. So, probably we're going to be hearing about what's happening in Canada over the next 24 to 48 hours. And something else that I'm watching is this storm system is full of moisture, and there are already flooding problems around the Great Lakes, around the shorelines. Where is this storm system going? It's traveling right over Lake Superior, right over Lake Michigan. This is going to be probably catastrophic in the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'm going to be watching this very, very carefully. Any of you folks up there in Canada that are listening to me right now, please don't be a hero. Watch this weather very, very carefully. And if you have to move out of your area temporarily just to get away from this, do it. But watch the direction of the storm. You don't want to be driving directly into it because that would be quite hazardous. And getting some advanced warning is what this is all about. This advanced warning, folks, this is what saves your life. Not knowing about it 5 minutes before, like the tornado whistles go off in Texas and Oklahoma and Nebraska. Hell, that only gives you a few minutes. So, me giving you guys some advanced warning, you guys spreading the word. Get it out there on social media. Let people know. If you have family and friends that live in these states, pick up the phone. Call them. Tell them. Send them an inbox message on Facebook. Become a pain in their ass. Say, listen, you need to watch this. You need to get out of there. Because these storms are going to increase in strength. There's no doubt about it. And I am very, very worried about this upcoming hurricane season. It's really, really got me, I'm like losing sleep over it because I'm going to back this off. And I want to show you guys something that is actually starting to occur. And you see way, way over here in Africa, way over here where my cursor is, all the way to the right. These hot storms are already starting to form over there in Africa. They kind of melt away over into the Atlantic. Just take a look at the line of storms all the way across, just above the equator. Now, all we need is just for more problems with this jet stream to start sinking down again with another huge trough. And let me go ahead and put my little crayon on here real quick. And I'll draw this out for you. All we need is more of these low pressures. And this would be a low right here. All we need is for this to start pushing down. And naturally, you're going to have high pressures right in here. This is going to suck these storms right up into the Gulf of Mexico. And that's what I was saying months ago, folks. I think our biggest threat for hurricanes this year is going to be coming from the Caribbean, right below Cuba, right off of the Yucatan Peninsula. And these storms have a tendency to get up there into the Gulf of Mexico. Water temperatures are already in the mid-80s. That has a potential to drag a hurricane directly into the shorelines anywhere in the Gulf of Mexico. And then you see the size of the storm we were just talking about. Imagine if we get something like that in the Gulf of Mexico. Bigger than the whole body of water. That's going to carry that storm along with the jet stream. Let me erase this. That would carry, let's just say we had a tornado. I'm not real good at drawing this. We'll make that the the hurricane. I'm sorry. That would take this hurricane straight up either off of the coast of Virginia and North Carolina. It could bring it all the way up into my neck of the woods here in Pennsylvania, like happened, I think, several years ago. A hurricane made its way. We got the remnants of it. A lot of flooding, a lot of destruction. So these hurricanes have a tendency to go any way. And hell, the wind speeds, they would be on the back side of it. So that would literally thrash the whole entire coast, the Gulf Coast of Texas. What's over there? Yeah, the remnants of Hurricane Harvey, the geoengineered storm that moved inland, backed up, regained strength, and went in again for the kill, wiping out everybody in Houston. Yeah. So, I often wonder, is a lot of this geoengineered? I think once the storms set up, it's easier for these factions to geoengineer the storm and steer it. I don't think that they actually create much of them because they don't need to. Mother Nature and our guest that is out there in the solar system, our inner solar system that is mated with our sun, yeah, that makes it a hell of a lot easier. And the fact that they're blaming everything on climate change and global warming, which is a crock of shit. But that's where my predictions are lying this year, folks, for hurricane season. No doubt we're going to see some systems out there in the Atlantic. But I'm thinking, from what I'm seeing right now, the big target area is going to be the Gulf of Mexico. We may even see hurricanes once again forming in the Pacific and slamming into the west coast of Mexico, which is kind of odd. Usually that forms out in the West Atlantic, coming off of Africa, the East Atlantic, and moving westward. Last year we saw some of that activity. Very, very strange cyclones forming down there in the South Pacific and wrapping up and heading back into Mexico. And, there's a lot of mountainous regions there, but it would break it up. But it could easily reform once it gets over the flat plains and into southern Texas. And if it makes its way into the Gulf of Mexico, bingo. We now have a storm that has regenerated, rebirthed, and will definitely do some serious destruction. So this is what's setting up for the next 24 to 48 hours. It's not going to be good. And, you could already see this is current. You can see the intensity. And that's moving over Indiana as we speak. We could pan back. There does seem to be a little bit of upper level wind shear that's kind of spreading the storm out. It's trying to break it up. But there's so much rotation in the center of this storm. Like I said, it's almost like it's a hurricane in the central part of this country. It's crazy. And there's a lot of moisture in it. Now, here's the key factor. As soon as the sun comes up and the atmosphere starts to heat up, everything that you see on your screen right now is going to change very rapidly with that rapid warming of our atmosphere. So the possibilities of stronger storms, heavier downpours will definitely exist in the next 4 hours. Yeah, so it's going to be hit and miss in these areas, but be very careful, folks. If you live anywhere around here, heed the warning. there will be more to come. This heat wave that I was talking about, real quick, and I'll stop boring you guys. This heat wave is going to be stretching up through this way. This is where the heat's going to be. This heat's going to be all the way through here. This is going to be extreme heat. The heat indexes could easily go well over 100, 110. The heat index, combination of surface temperature and humidity. So if it's 90 degrees outside and the humidity is 90%, well, your heat index is going to be like 105, 110, and those are very, very dangerous situations. Again, for your pets, for elderly people, for children, for people who have asthma, breathing conditions. Hey, even somebody who's in great shape can easily succumb to these types of conditions. So this heat wave down there in the south, it's going to be sticking around for a couple of days. So definitely you guys want to heed that warning. I'm going to show you guys real quick what I found yesterday. And yeah, we're going to move into just a little bit of Planet X news here for a second. And I was paying very, very close attention to the rotation of these two sunspots as they make their way around to the backside of the sun. And I was mentioning to all of you my theory on all of this, and it's like damn near 100% now. And I noticed this very, very large plasma loop. And at first, it didn't catch my eye. And what I'm referring to as a plasma loop is these two loops right here. Connecting, reconnecting, connecting, reconnecting. Excuse me, 1 second. Need a little sip of my coffee. What I noticed about this was, at first I thought that looked like a coronal prominence. But the situation, the current conditions over there on that side of the sun were not conducive to a coronal prominence forming. And sometimes these coronal prominences, they're kind of teardrop shaped, and they have a little bit of an oval shaped space in the middle that could be kind of darker, but definitely not perfectly spherical. And I know some of the debunkers like to use that terminology to say, oh, that was nothing more than a coronal prominence, when in fact they don't even know what it is. They have to look it up on Wikipedia. But when I was looking at this, and I said to myself, oh shit, that doesn't look like a plasma loop in the center. Because usually these plasma loops aren't perfectly spherical in the center. They're kind of oddly shaped. So I took a screenshot of it as I captured it, and I ran it through my high definition program to get a better view of it. And lo and behold, look what we have there. My God, you could see it right there. And I do believe that this plasma loop, and this is all this is like kind of playing around with electricity, electromagnetics, connecting, reconnecting, connecting, reconnecting, and that's basically what a plasma loop or one of these coronal prominences will do. It's a little difficult to explain. One day we'll get into all of it. But as I saw this happening and I looked at what was in the center of it, it actually turned out not to be in the center. That plasma loop that you see there is behind this object. It's not in it, it's behind it. And as I was explaining to a lot of you in one of my past live streams, talking about the orbital path of Planet X, this 28-day orbit around our sun, this is where the problem begins. Because we're going to have periods throughout the month when the sun is kind of quieted down like it is right now. But as we move closer towards the end of the month, the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, that last week of the month, that is when this object is now making its way back up and around the backside of the sun. If we were looking at the sun from this perspective, once it starts to rise up right where it's at right now, my prediction is that we will probably see the reigniting or the regeneration of one or both of those sunspots. And we may possibly see another huge coronal mass ejection, but on the backside of the sun. It won't affect the Earth. So, I continue to work on this theory. So far, it's been 100% on the money. Yesterday, Mark from the Blue Kool-Aid channel sent me an email and actually a text message. And I told him, I said, look, don't believe me. You go do your own research and you figure it out. I've given you the base idea. You prove me wrong or you prove me right. And yesterday he sent me a text message and he said, man, he goes, yeah, you are 100% right. And then we got into a whole conversation about what I'm showing you folks right now. So I have a black and white of this also. Let me go ahead and get out of here. The black and white, where is it? Is it this way? Oh, look at this. Check this out. There was a small coronal mass ejection yesterday. Not much of anything. But in the same area where I just showed you this photograph. You see where this object is right here? Where my cursor is? Check this out. Now we move to the cactus coronagraph. Oh, what do we see peeping out right there? And this was just a few hours before I captured the photograph that I just shown you in blue. What do we got poking out right there? It's a little blurry, but you can see the perfect sphere. Bad boy Planet X, at least one of them, is right where I said it would be, and it's now making its way up and towards the backside of the sun. It's going to be back there for probably, maybe about 7 days. And then it's going to be making its way downward once again, and we may just capture it as it's coming down. And it has a very, very unusual orbit. But again, folks, if you follow this type of science, these eccentric orbits, they're not actually unusual. They're actually quite common when you're dealing with these types of objects. Brown dwarf stars, exoplanets, rogue planets, other stars. Yes, they can be in these types of orbital patterns. So, things are becoming more and more clear with the orbital path of this object. And now we know there's two more. So there's a total of 3. And that's all that I know of right now. I don't have concrete proof that there are any more than the 3 of them. One of them is very, very large. Seems to be one of them is of a medium size. I don't know how big. and there seems to be one that's a little bit smaller, but that smaller is pretty damn big. It's like way bigger than the Earth. That's for damn sure. So right where this object is, this was at 12 noon UTC time on the 21st, yesterday. So this object actually moved from that position to that position in just a matter of 8 hours. So I think here's the black and white. The black and white actually shows it a little bit better. And whenever I zoom in, you can see that this object is not within that very impressive plasma loop. It's actually in front of it. So that was a pretty good capture. I'm going to send these photographs over to Mark, and he could use them in one of his videos to explain to his subscribers what we're actually seeing. And very, very interesting. Let me jump out of here. I had somebody point me to this crazy photograph. And this was taken in or near Odessa, Texas. The picture was taken by Troy Blair, and it was shared on the Facebook page Texas Storm Chasers Community Group. I've never seen anything like that before. They asked me if I can explain that, and I can't. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know where those beams of light are coming from. I don't know what the hell they are. You can see the tornado has already touched down in the background. I don't know, folks. Direct energy weapon? Pfft, you got me. But a spectacular photograph by Troy Blair. And way to go keeping your camera ready, man. That was fantastic. This was a photograph sent in to me. This was actually captured from an airplane. And this was one of the Storm Chaser airplanes. And this is overlooking, I believe, Oklahoma. And this was 2 tornadoes touching down at once. And way in the background, in the middle, you can see those large windmills. I don't know if they made it through the storms. I don't know if they were damaged. But yeah, pretty wild situation out there. That was a picture of the sun. Me and Mark were paying very close attention to this plasma right there. And the live stream that we were going to hold for you guys was showing you this stream of plasma, which is probably, 50,000 miles long or more, came out of nowhere. It didn't come from the sun. It came from back out of here, out of space. And what was probably back there was one of our objects. And I've never seen that before. And I actually captured it. Mark captured it. We got together on it. And we said to ourselves, wow, where in the hell did that just come from? Very, very odd. But we'll get together and we'll show you guys that. I want to show you something else real quick that I noticed yesterday. And I took some quick video of it, and it's very, very strange. I'm going to bring this up real quick. I want you guys, let me just pop this in the full screen. I want you guys to pay very close attention to this area where I'm circling right here. Okay? It's going to be very, very hard for you to see this, probably. Maybe, maybe not. But you're going to see something pass through
the sun's corona. And this caught my eye. So I'm going to go ahead and let it play, and you watch. You'll see it. You'll see it disturb the sun's corona, and you'll see it pass by very rapidly. But in actuality, it's moving kind of slow. The 48-hour loop is time-lapsed, so it actually moves faster, if that makes any sense. But just watch up here. You'll see it. Did you see that? Right there. You'll see it again. It's coming. And bingo, there it goes. Now, it's hard to see there. Let me see. I know I took a couple shots of this. Pay attention up here. You see how something's moving past the sun? Let's look at the wide view. We might be able to see it a little bit better. Pay attention right up here. Something moved from the back side of the sun up over that angle and made it through the sun's corona. It literally disturbed the sun's corona. You could see that it's something spherical, not any type of plasma ejection or filament or anything of that nature, because I checked. There were no disturbances, none, zero, on that section of the sun. And this was on the 20th going into the 21st. I have a better view of it. And just watch very carefully up in that corner. You will see that object passing from the back side towards us. And it kind of leaves a little bit of a trail behind it as it passes through the sun's corona. I tried to see if I could capture that in a different angstrom of extreme ultraviolet light, but it just wouldn't come up. This 171 angstroms, this yellow view, actually really showed it the best. There's something passing through there that shouldn't be there. Pretty interesting. Do you guys all see that? Yeah. I thought you did. Okay. I have one more piece here. That might show it a little bit better. No, this was the wrong one. Yeah, I was capturing these off of HelioViewer, and I misplaced the I messed up on the actual time as I was putting that in there. One thing I want to show you guys, I might as well show it to you now, and then me and Mark will touch base on it later on. I was just talking to you about this streak of plasma that came out of the backside of space from behind the sun. Where it came from, we don't know. We could only theorize, but you'll see it come out of nowhere from back there, just literally out of space. I'll let that go ahead and play. And it's literally coming towards you. So, where did that come from? That's a big question. I haven't seen that ever before. Now, one of these debunkers got wind of Mark's video, and they were already trying to debunk this and just saying it was a plasma disbursement that came from the backside of the sun and made its way towards the camera on the SDO. Come on, man. Do you know what this means whenever I do this? This is me playing my tiny violin like I really give a shit about your debunking opinion, because you're dead wrong. This plasma ejection did not come from the backside of the sun. It clearly comes from something out there in the darkness behind the damn sun. You can see it with your own eyes. Just using common sense. Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. People that talk nonsense on YouTube in this so-called Planet X or Nibiru community, as they call it, they talk a lot of nonsense. That damn thing came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. That would be one of the positions of one of these objects on this day. Not too far out there behind the sun. Was there a magnetic connection at that point that literally pulled plasma from the sun, or is this object or one of these objects now producing its own plasma ejections? Now, I ran this past Dr. Albers and I said, listen, can this actually be possible? Could this object or any of these objects create their own plasma ejection? And she looked at me sternly and she said, absolutely. She said, this is something that I would have been expecting to see very soon. There it is. So, Mark has all the credit on this. This was a fantastic observation by him and his YouTube channel. And this is what we wanted to present to you. But whenever we get together, we'll go into more of this. And we're going to be watching much more closely for that type of environment, to see this plasma disbursement literally just coming out of space. See, if that was an actual plasma loop or an ejection, you would have seen it coming from the backside of the sun and creating a loop from beginning to end. In a loop, not something coming from out of the blackness of space. Give me a break. Man, these people really need to get a life and get off of my freaking nutsack, because they have no education. Their debunking skills suck. And nobody watches their videos except them. Dumbasses. But I thought that was pretty intriguing, folks. But I'm going to leave you guys with that. One last warning. Hey, listen, watch your weather. Watch it very, very carefully over the next couple of days. And remember, folks, that heat wave down in the south, it's going to encompass probably about, 13, 14, 15 states. Be very, very careful. And once again, I wanted to thank all of you for all of your kind words, all of your support here on Planet X News. A lot of your comments, just about every single one of them, really, really touched my heart. And, keep Kathy and Roy and their family in your prayers and your thoughts, and everybody else affected by these tragedies and these catastrophic occurrences. And share the information, folks. Get out there on social media and, instead of posting selfies, post some of this information. Get out there on YouTube. I don't mind if you pull up one of my videos and narrate through it and say, hey, check out this. This is what Planet X News has captured. This is what Mark has captured. Get the word out. You guys have YouTube channels. Use them. If you don't feel comfortable getting on a video, practice. Get some screen sharing software. OBS is free. Learn how to use it. There are tutorials how to use it on YouTube. If you need some help, you need some assistance, you need some know-how, send me an email, inbox me, ask me, Scott, can you help me? Believe me, I will help you. I will show you some of the software that I use. Although some of it is very expensive, some of you may not have the money to buy it, but over the years I've accumulated the software, and I've spent a lot of money in putting all of this together to make things more clear for all of you. But the more, the merrier. And I want to leave all of you on one last note. Listen, I know a lot of you can't stand when I talk about another YouTube channel, but I have to. And the reason being is because some of these other channels are just out there spewing outright lies about, their little picture shows. And they're commenting on me. They're commenting on Mark from the Blue Kool-Aid channel. They're commenting on Jeff P. They're commenting on BP Earthwatch. They're literally out there calling us liars. And what they show you is the truth. So I looked into one of these bozos yesterday. This Alex Lujan. This guy's one of the biggest liars. He came out of the WSO camp. Now that he screwed old Stevie Boy over there, he's out on his own. This guy is a thief, a junkie, and he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to science. Okay? He mentions my name and steals my material all the time. Well, he tried to throw Mark under the bus in his latest video yesterday, and I'm not having it. And Alex, if you're listening to me right now, boy, you better shape up. Keep my name out of your mouth and keep Mark's name out of your mouth. And the lies that you're spewing to the people are just that, pure lies. You better get your shit together or get the fuck off of YouTube. See, folks, that's a big problem. There are people out there that are telling you complete nonsense, and then you don't know what the hell to believe. So stop believing in this nonsense. Stop following these YouTube channels. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I saw some of my own followers in the comment section under this bozo's video showing dust on the lens of a camera, taking photographs of the sun and calling them planets. And I see my own subscribers who I've worked with to educate and show the truth telling this fool, wow, that's spectacular, Alex. What is wrong with you? This guy is pure evil. Pure nonsense. Get away from him. And stay away from him. Hit the unsubscribe button. Don't follow that crap. Listen, folks. You need to follow the truth. Not the make-believe. If you want make-believe, then stay your ass over there. If you truly want to learn and understand the science, then you will stick around here. But Alex, you keep my name out of your mouth. You keep Mark's name out of your mouth because you are nothing more than a fraud. And there's a bunch of these people on YouTube, folks. There's a bunch of them on Facebook. I've warned you folks before. I will continue to warn you. If you don't like me talking about somebody else, See ya. But it's my responsibility, mine, to make sure that people understand the truth. I am a hardcore truther. I don't sit here and show you guys little dust specks on a camera lens and tell you, ooh, look, there's multiple planets in the sky. Call me a liar, call me what you will. But I will not have that. I've had so many people just over the last couple of days inboxing me on Facebook and asking me if there was something I could do about this guy. No, unfortunately, I can't do anything other than tell you guys to stop watching his nonsense. He is completely out there. If you want to listen to lies, stay tuned to Alex Lujan and WSO and a few other of these fools. Yeah. Now I'm all pissed off. But it is what it is. You know, I've been doing this for a long damn time. My whole point for my channel was to divulge and disclose what is really, truly happening. And if I have to fight with another YouTube channel who's spreading disinformation, guess what? That other YouTube channel, you are on my shit list. And I will be coming for you. Because if you're spreading disinformation, then you are hurting the people out there that are seeking the truth. Watch for me. I'm coming down through your back door. This is Scott from Planet X News. Hot and heavy. Full disclosure. Thank you for watching, folks. Be safe out there.